Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. I'm Mary Felling, physical therapist, and today I'm going to be showing you a myofascial release technique for the outside of our thighs in an area called the ITB, or the iliotibial band. This technique is really good for those of you who already know you have problems and are very tight and get sore on the outside of your thighs over the IT band. Maybe you have clicking and popping in the knees and sore kneecaps. This is really good for helping relieving that. This technique is a modification because a traditional IT band stretch, we just kind of take a strap, pull it across our body. Maybe you're weaker in your upper body and you can't hold the weight of your leg up for 5 minutes. This technique is done against a wall, so the wall supports the weight of the leg. All right, let's get started. So all you'll need for this technique is either a strap, an exercise strap. If you don't have one of those, you can use a belt from a robe. You'll also need an open wall, and you're going to be lying down. You can do this on the floor or a raised surface like a bed, but you do want to make sure you have a big enough, wide enough wall. You want like a 5-foot space to work in. Okay, so you're going to be seeing me in two different positions. The first one is you're going to be seeing me head on with my foot on the wall, and I want you to view this particular angle so that you can see what it looks like with my foot coming across the body and actually how far over it does go. After that, you're going to be seeing me filmed from the side for the remainder of the technique. So follow along with me. If you've got your strap, you're close to a wall. And I do have a pillow. I want to give my head some comfort. So I'm going to put my strap around my middle of the foot. I'm going to cross the strap just as a way to hold the foot in there a little better. If you've got these holes in your strap, if you got the foot placement holds, those are nice because it does a good job to pulling the foot steady. All right, so I'm still going to cross. So this is your beginning position. And can you see how the leg goes across? The weight of the leg is being held by the wall. I'm not doing any work. I'm just using the strap to direct my leg across. And notice how this hip is down. I'm not over like that. I'm just like this. First, get down on your back. Knees are bent. And you need to test how far away you need to be from the wall. So you can see my foot is completely resting on the wall. I'm not out here. And so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to come across, and what you're feeling for, what you're looking for, is you feel a nice pull anywhere from here up over into the hip, the outside of your hip. And for me, this is how far I have to get so I can feel it deep in my hip. For others, you might find that you have to scoot back a little bit. Maybe you've got really long legs and you only need to, and you have to be back this far so that you feel enough of a pull, it's comfortable for you, or for whatever reason you need to be further away from the wall. And in this position, when you're testing, really relax your leg. Let your arms and the strap do all the work. Really check to make sure you're not holding that leg up at all. The only reason it's up there is because the strap's moving it over and the weight of the leg is held up by the wall itself. And as you move through, you'll get to a point where you will feel one spot is tighter than another. Excuse me, that one position provides you feeling that tension over other positions. Now, just from doing this for a while in my life, I know I need to be pretty close to a wall. So I'm going to start up here. I've got my band crossed. You're going to be here for 5 minutes, so make sure you're nice and relaxed. I've got my pillow just up to my shoulders. Never put a pillow under your shoulders, just under your neck and your head. And I'm using these loops. You can hold on like this, but make sure you're nice and relaxed. And before you start, make sure you're soft. That leg is nice and soft. And just softening it, you might feel, oh my gosh, I feel a pull in my hamstring or here. That's all right. That's the position. You're going to feel tight in other places too, but you want to go across until you feel as much pull through here. You might feel it, so I feel it a little bit under my leg, kind of in the hamstring spot, but I do now feel it too, pulling across in here. So I'm using my arm strength to keep the foot from going any further, and the wall is holding it up. So we're starting our 5 minutes. This is a John Barnes myofascial technique. So we're using 5 minutes of elongation into the body to start that piezoelectric effect, get the electrical flow going so we can release the fascia. All right, just check and make sure you're nice and relaxed. I feel so tight that when I relax, I'm getting more of a stretch. It's a little too much for me, so I probably have to keep my leg back here a little bit if I really want to. And now I really feel it both in the back of the leg and the side. That's how tight my hamstrings are. So as I relax, making sure that I'm staying soft, I'm not tightening against it. That's how you know when you've got too much stretch in the area. If you're tensing under because it's painful, or you feel you're holding your breath, then you need to back off a little bit. All right, we've got that 1 minute under our belt. Check again, make sure you're soft. Pain makes us stiffen up. So if you have a little bit of the pain, you really have to keep making yourself be aware of staying soft, staying relaxed, letting the wall do all the work. Check that your belly is soft, you're not holding any tension there, that your neck and shoulders are soft. The only work being done is your arms. Straps doing the work and the wall is doing the work. So in the John Barnes myofascial release approach to releasing the fascia in the myofascial complex, myo means muscle, by the way. So we're releasing the fascia and the muscle of the IT band, also called the ITB, but known as the IT band. And this band goes all the way from the back of the hip all the way down to the side of your knee and just below it. So it's really long, and it takes a lot of impact from our day, from overuse, repetitive use. It's always trying to help the quadricep muscles. So it's not only has its job, but it helps to for weak quads. So it does tend to become very tight in our lifetime. Even if we think, well, I don't do anything. Well, if you're sitting for prolonged times, for prolonged periods, if you do, you're a cyclist or you like to walk or jog, that IT band gets a lot of workout. If you're doing squats all the time, maybe you go to the gym, that IT band is tightening up. And when it does, you can get all kinds of things from achy knees. Yes, it impacts the knees. You can get hip clicking and popping. So this IT band is really good for relieving pain in the hip and the knee, relieving stiffness, popping and clicking in the hip and the knee. And it also helps relieve any impact that it gives into the back. And the IT band absolutely impacts our low backs too. So if you've got a little low back pain or even a lot of low back pain, try this. The nice thing about doing myofascial releases is if you don't need the technique, there's no harm. There is no negative outcome. You just get passive range of motion that you didn't need. So it's worth trying just to see what kind of positive effects you get from it. All right, so we're in our 3, coming up to 4 minutes. But the reason you have to stay a minimum of 5 minutes is because it takes 5 minutes of mechanical energy placed into the human body to start that piezoelectric effect. Now, in this case, we're doing an elongation, which is a mechanical energy. Compression is a mechanical energy, and twisting, rotation. All those are mechanical energies, and then when they're placed in the body uninterrupted for 5 minutes, this electrical flow starts, called the piezoelectric effect, and it moves through the fascia. And when it comes to areas of the fascia that are tight and bound down and dehydrated from repetitive use and overuse and injury in our lifetime and stress in our lifetime, it causes those myofascial restrictions to soften, rehydrate, open, and lengthen. So pain is reduced, mobility is returned, and it's really the body self-correcting. We're not doing anything to force the body to do anything. We're allowing it to self-correct. So there's no way you can injure yourself when you're just replacing the energy of mechanical energy into the system. All right, so we're at that 5 minutes. I would encourage you to go to 7, 8 minutes to keep that electrical flow going, getting some more and more releases. Releases feel like softening, letting go. When you stand up, you might feel that there's less popping and clicking when you're walking around. But for those of you this is your first time, you just wanted to try it, 5 minutes is fine. And as always, with all techniques, you want to continue doing your technique every day for a minimum of 14 days. And then after that, you can switch and go to maybe 3 times a week, doing your technique every second day, every third day, continuously to maintain those positive changes that you got. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm glad you are taking care of yourself and giving yourself a chance to enjoy life and get back to that pain-free lifestyle that you deserve. Thanks again for joining. I'll see you in our next video.